Real rivalry, Imaad, welcome back. So another big win for Arsenal, unfortunately. Arsenal to Leicester nil. I watched that game anxiously and I was hoping that, Leicester would pull something off, but within fucking 7 minutes of that game, Partey had ruined any hopes that I had. What do you think of it?
Yeah, man, the Arsenal machine motor's on. Like, what can I say? Like, every week, like, I mean, it's just like now it's like getting to the point where like we're actually seeing good performances consistently. I mean, like initially, like when we were winning games, even when you win like two, three games in a row, which we did do like towards the early stages of the season when we after those first three defeats. But like they were 1-0, like against Norwich, Burnley. I remember we just weren't playing well at all. And like even other victories that we've had through the season, I mean, it's just been like, a goal from a set piece, a scrappy goal, and then we just don't create anything apart from that. You sit back and you just kind of defend well. But now I'm actually starting to see like a proper identity with this team. Apart from like the solid defensive performances, we're seeing really good free flowing attacking football. I was telling you this last week when we spoke after our win against who did we beat last time? Watford, was it? Yeah, it was Watford. This was like I think this was slightly better, man, because this was like a more composed, more professional job that we did. Like, I mean, it was 2-0, no, like no bullshit at the back. Like everyone was on it. Ramsdale with another blinding save to like keep
Right.
it. Like we were only on. I would say for the last 15 minutes of that first half is when Leicester really kind of got a foothold in the game and they kind of started with dictating play. And that's the only time we really felt like I felt like we were going to concede. Like for those last 15 minutes in the second half, Ramsey,
Mm,
like I said, incredible save again against Leicester. I mean,
mm.
if he simply has to be England's number one now. I mean, there's
100%. I think
can't
there's
be
no
can't
argument
be
about that. Yeah.
can't be any doubt about
He's
that.
been your player of the season, I would say. He's your player of the season.
Cedric, I mean, for a second choice right back, he's done really well. Like, I
Is
mean, he's had like
Tomiyasu
one.
injured? Or what?
Yeah, I
What's
don't
the
know
deal?
what's happening with the Tomiyasu injury. I mean, another classic example of Arsenal's medical team just taking the piss completely. I mean, he was supposed to be back, but honestly, like Cedric has filled in really well, considering like he barely plays. I mean, he's probably played more than he expected to this season. He's
Hmm.
done a great job. I mean, like he's had maybe one or two like iffy performances, and he has a couple of moments in games where he doesn't look that composed. But all in all, he looks solid defensively. He gets like, I mean, he makes busting runs down the down the wing, puts
His
in good
crossing is
crosses.
decent. Yeah, his crossing is
So,
decent
yeah,
too.
so no complaints. And Gabriel and Ben White was absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal,
that
man. What a
tackle,
signing!
man. That tackle
Yeah,
on.
I
I
thought
was so
that was
disappointed.
one
That was
all.
like a
I mean, that
guaranteed
was.
goal.
Yeah,
That was
when
like, what the
Ramsdale
fuck?
palmed it out, when Ramsdale palms it out, I mean, into the 6 yard box, you're thinking like this is definitely 1 all, and then I don't know where he pulls that out from. Because if he gets that wrong, I mean, it's a red card
Yeah.
penalty, same old, and then But shout out Jamie Vardy being injured, by the way. I mean, thank
I'm
God
sure
for
that's a
that
big help.
because
Yeah.
because I mean he does have a lethal record against Arsenal. So yeah, but I mean even Tierney, I mean it wasn't like one of his worst games but Tierney like I mean he hasn't been playing like brilliantly lately, but like he doesn't do anything wrong defensively. So even when Tierney is not putting in a shift or putting in brilliant crosses and going forward, he's still giving you like a 6 or 7 out of 10 every single week. So
Right.
you can't really
Right.
complain with Tierney. He's not making any mistakes defensively. Like he's always, I mean, he's a very intelligent player. So even if he's not like on it, like in terms of his ball control and his touch, he's still always like
He's
positionally,
always
he's
a
always
threat. Yeah.
where it needs to be. So hats off to him as well. And then, I mean, I think that was one of Thomas Partey's best games in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
in terms of
excellent.
he was
He
doing everything.
dominated the game. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
dominating
and
the
same with Odegaard, one of his best
best
performances. He's
games.
really
Yeah.
finding his feet now, and I think he's like starting to like really enjoy like the responsibility of being that playmaker for Arsenal. And I haven't seen someone like do that like since Özil was like really flying, and he had one of his
Hmm.
like really it was Özil one like when he was playing well and like it was just a joy to watch.
Hmm.
Odegaard is just so good in those tight spaces when he receives the ball. He just
Right.
looks so
Right.
clean in possession. I mean, like he just doesn't look like he's going to lose the ball. and every touch is just so silky and smooth,
He
and it just
presses
really
well
helps
too,
the flow
man.
of the game.
Yeah, and he's got
Yeah,
intensity about
exactly,
him as well.
exactly,
He
and that's
presses really well
exactly that's something you don't really get from your
from
number
number
10s, your
10s,
silky
exactly.
players, and he is all about the press. So I love that about him. And then obviously Saka, I mean, there's nothing really more we can say about him.
Dude,
Martinelli had a really good
Martinelli,
game.
man. I think, like, for me,
Yeah.
I know Saka has been stealing some of the limelight lately with some of his goals, but I think Martinelli consistently, man, game in, game
No, so
out.
Martinelli did actually have. I didn't think he was great against Watford. He did score even in the game before that. He has looked a bit like. I mean, he has lost the ball quite a bit. He's looked a bit like erratic in possession, but last night, I mean, he was phenomenal,
He
man.
was
Like
excellent, yeah.
he. I mean, his energy levels are always on point. Like he's always hungry. He's like reminds me of Alexis in that way. I mean, he's
Mm.
always closing players down. Like,
His
and he's
intensity,
just he
he's just
yeah, and
super
even
intense.
lost causes, he's chasing everything down. I mean, as you saw that one run that he kind of almost ran off the pitch, like and set
And then
and
he,
pulled it back.
right.
And I mean, he's quality and like on and even Lacazette, like I think like that performance against Wolves, even though he didn't get the goal, like you can see what it's done to him.
Mm.
Like he looks like his touches was so much cleaner. I haven't seen Lacazette's touches that clean in a while. His
Mm.
passing was on point. Usually he holds the ball up. His layoffs are a bit short. His
Mm.
passes are not always on point. He'll spread a player wider than he needs to. But yesterday, everything was on point. He was doing his layoffs well. Everything was perfect, and I'm so happy like he scored because it would have been 10 games within the Prem without a goal for him, and
Right.
he needed that goal. I mean, I think his confidence is back anyway, but that goal is only going to help. And if we have him playing this way, and like if our front players, I mean, if you can have three of them out of four firing every week, and you got ESR and Pepe on the bench, I mean,
Mm.
there's honestly like, I mean, it's so different. Like when your team is playing well and with confidence. I mean, I feel like you add one or two quality players to this team if we get top four, and you have like a really good team for next season. Because now
Potentially,
the main thing is defensively we're solid now, and that's always been the
been a
problem. The
problem.
biggest challenge
Absolutely.
for Arteta was always like, can you bring back that free flowing attacking style of football that every Arsenal fan is going to want? I mean, every Arsenal fan is accustomed to Arsene Wenger, and we're used to seeing like good attacking football. The only thing we craved was a top defense to like match, like
Mm.
to back it up. And
Right.
Arteta fixed the defensive part, but like that was never going to be enough for us. I mean, you can't as a manager. I mean, you want perfection from your team. I mean,
Right,
you're
right.
not
And
going to
then the
get it, but
next
you
thing
want
was attack, next thing was, can you get us create
exactly.
chances?
So I'm loving what I'm seeing, and like I'm loving the fact that he's proving me wrong. I mean, I I have no issue with being wrong if it means it's going to make Arsenal successful. I mean, that's all I want. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's really
I didn't see this coming. Like, I didn't think that Arsenal would get to a stage where they would attack well as do. I thought Arteta was one of those managers who can probably organize the defense well, and he's very strict tactically. Like, positions are going to be rigid, but going forward, you're going to rely on star players doing something. But
yeah.
that's
He
not
seemed
necessarily the case at the
yeah because
moment.
he seemed like he was out of ideas at one point because he'd been at the club for so long. I mean, it had been more like over a year and a half. And we're
Mm.
still not seeing any identity in terms of our attacking play. Every time we used to win games, it was literally Saka to Tierney. Our left side was our only form of attack. I remember I used to
Mm-hmm.
complain like about this to you as well and be like, we only attack from the left, and then like teams just shut that left side off. And we had no other game plan going forward. So I mean, the fact that it's taken so long, I mean, I'm not going to criticize Arteta for that because he's obviously fixed one aspect of the team,
Mm.
but it has taken him a while to develop this, and maybe now he's got the players he wants. But if I look at our team now, like from back to front, definitely the back line, I like all of those players. I mean, like if you compare it to what we had a few years ago, Bellerin, Holding, Mustafi,
Woeful, woeful. There's no comparison.
Kolasinac.
Yeah, no
Yeah, and we
comparison.
were we were like, I mean, we were like finessed into believing that those players, like because we've seen them like have a couple of decent performances. Bellerin's
They were
come out
never
of the
good enough. They were
academy.
just never good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, and he removed that, and like it's working. But like I said, man, every week just keep your head down. Like now we have Liverpool. I mean, if we can get 4 points out of Liverpool and Villa our next two games, I will really
It's
start dreaming
done.
about
It's done,
Champions League
man.
football next season.
I think
So
even if you win one of the two, I think the thing with Arsenal, right, your defense has been solid pretty much all season, and they're continuing to do so. I think you have decent centre backs, you have pretty good quality centre backs, you have a couple of okay right backs, and your left back is quality. Your midfield, Partey was always good. I don't know, for some periods during his Arsenal career, he may not have had, like, he may have had some bad games, but he's a quality player. We know that. Xhaka gives you what Xhaka does. He's decent at best. But the thing was, I think your front four has not been firing all season up until recently, right? Like Saka's now in form. Odegaard is in form. Martinelli is doing all right, doing pretty well actually, and then
Mhm.
Lacazette is doing better now as well. So your front four are all confident. They're
And
all
yeah, then you look
firing.
at the bench. I mean, Smith Rowe's always been firing throughout the
Mm,
season, and Pepe has just come into his own, which is a game changer for us. I mean, if we can get Pepe firing as well, I mean,
mm.
you have an array of attacking players. I mean, like you don't. I mean, for one competition, that's more than enough squad depth to get you a
To
top four
get you
finish.
top
I
four
mean,
finish. Yeah.
I'm confident that like even if we lose Martinelli or Odegaard, for example, for like a couple of games, Smith Rowe can come in the number 10 and fill in. Like, like Pepe can come in on the wing and fill in.
Mm,
So, and even if we lose Lacazette, I mean, Lacazette might be a bigger loss because I'm not
because you don't
all
have a
that
striker.
confident about. I feel like Martinelli could eventually play that role, but
I
not
think
the
that'll be
way
a big
Lacazette
loss.
does
Yeah,
right
that'll be a
now.
big
Yeah.
loss. You need Lacazette's like key to a lot of your play. His hold up play, his link up play and stuff. I think is big to how
So
you attack.
it's about keeping players fit, and yeah, two massive games. I mean, Liverpool at the Emirates. I'm confident that I'm looking at it as a free hit. It's a game in hand. We're still going to be above everyone. We're still going to be in fourth, even if we lose against Liverpool. So just go out there. I mean, like play like you did against City. Just
Mm,
be hungry, like win every second ball. Just want it more than Liverpool. And I genuinely believe that. Like, I mean, hopefully Mo Salah's out for that.
mm.
And also like after they schooled us in the Carabao Cup. I mean, in the semi, we should really be like out to like try and fuck
Try
that
and
title
get
challenge
them.
up a bit. And yeah, because I mean, it's a big. It's I think it's more of a must win for them. So I think they're really gonna go for it. So that actually might. I don't know, man. We just
Might play
defend,
into your
stay compact,
hands,
and hit
counter.
them on the break. Yeah.
But I'll also say one thing, man. Like I think, like for Arsenal, they just need 3 points out of Aston Villa and Liverpool. Villa away, Liverpool home. Win one of the two games. I think top four is basically done. But like
No,
this is
man. There's
the
still a lot more games. There's still a lot tough, like a
yeah.
lot
But
tougher
like you
games.
have no
United, Spurs. We
United
have
are
we
shit.
have we have West
We're
Ham.
shit, dude. So that's why I
We
keep
have
saying
West.
like you'd have to
Yeah, you're
collapse.
shit, but you're United are shit, but they're going to be up for a game against Arsenal. You better believe that they will be
Yeah,
up
I
for
know
it. Like
that for sure.
Spurs are going to be up for it. Like that's a game that like anything can happen in those games. So I don't want it to be dependent on those games. I want to try and get 4 points. And then I mean we have West Ham away. We have another tough away game. I know like it's not going to be easy, man, by any means. I know we're playing well and we're defending well, but it's
Things
just
can
we're one
change
bad
fast,
performance away from things going downhill. Yeah, like
Right.
one bad performance and
I
things
think
can.
the one thing, if as an Arsenal fan, that like as a United fan, that I hope, that I still have hope for top four. The only hope I have is like Arsenal have been beating teams like Leicester are decent, but they're not great either. Like they weren't great on Saturday. Like and Arsenal have beaten the teams they should be beating. And I think now this week is the real test for me. Like, can they actually beat Liverpool or can they do something against Liverpool? Can they get a draw? Because this is like the a top quality team. Then Villa away is a tough game, like can they do
Yeah,
something
so I
there?
mean, but these were the challenges that we weren't passing these tests at the beginning of the
Hmm.
season and through
Right.
large parts of Arteta's tenure. So like to see us doing it consistently, I mean, 9 wins in your last 11 Premier League games is
That's
massive. I mean,
sensational. Yeah.
and
Sensational.
you look at in the middle of that. I mean, you have Wolves away, which is one of the toughest places to go to. We beat them twice. Like so, when we won both the Wolves games, that's when I started to believe. I was like, okay, we have beaten some decent opposition. We
Hmm.
have we won in different types of ways. I mean, like the win against Leicester was so different from like the win against Watford or the win against. I mean, we've been winning ugly. We've been winning by playing good football. We've been
Hmm.
digging in when we've gone down to 10 men. Like there've been all different types of wins in this run, and that's what makes
Hmm.
it like that we can do. I mean, they can do the lot. I mean, I mean, I hope that it pays off. But I mean, for a young team, I mean, it's remarkable that they've been able to come through this. And now, like this is when the pressure is going to come because now they're favorites. I mean, and they dealt with the pressure against Leicester. Now every game, I mean, apart from
They're
Liverpool, like when
favorites.
they when
Yeah.
they go when they go to Villa, like the pressure is going to be on because they know like now if they bottle it. So like the fact that if they can come through and play that well under that kind of pressure, then it shows that these guys are obviously made of something.
Right. Right. And Arteta is actually building something. Then you can believe it for sure. But anyway, man, things are looking good for Arsenal, and I hope that changes this week, and I have some good news by the end of this week. But we'll connect
Yeah.
again in a couple of days, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah, you too.